nailed, tied, and clinched. The hilarious existential plight of Melville's landsmen in Moby Dick's 15th sentence. In the 15th sentence of Moby Dick, Herman Melville delivers a vivid snapshot of the landsmen's lives. But these are all landsmen of weekdays pent up in lath and plaster, tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. It's a line that hits harder than Ishmael's harpoon, especially for anyone who's ever endured a soul-crushing desk job. With this sentence, Melville encapsulates the novel's larger themes of freedom, confinement, and the absurdity of human existence, all while delivering a comedic roast of 9-to-5 monotony. Through this description of landsmen, bound, bolted, and generally immobilized by their mundane routines, Melville highlights humanity's eternal struggle between the desire for adventure and the obligations of daily life. Let's unpack the brilliance and humor of this sentence and explore how it connects to Moby Dick's grander themes of freedom, obsession, and the longing to escape the tyranny of lath and plaster. Pent up in lath and plaster, the comedy of confinement. Melville opens this sentence by describing landsmen as pent up in lath and plaster. In other words, they're trapped in buildings, stuck in their little boxes, far from the liberating vastness of the sea. From cubicles to lath and plaster, Melville's image of confinement feels eerily modern. Replace lath and plaster with cubicles and drywall, and you've got a 21st century office worker dreaming of a vacation that never comes. The humor of human trapping, the phrase pent up, makes these landsmen sound like zoo animals, lions pacing behind bars, longing for the savannah. The comedy lies in the absurdity of their imprisonment. They're not chained up by pirates or marooned on an island. They're stuck in a building of their own making, tied, nailed, and clinched. A slapstick inventory of bondage. Melville doesn't stop at lath and plaster. He doubles down with a slapstick inventory of how these poor landsmen are bound to their routines, tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. It's as if their daily grind has turned into a physical assault. The horror of office furniture. Imagine being nailed to a bench or clinched to a desk. Melville's hyperbolic imagery takes the everyday drudgery of work and cranks it up to cartoonish extremes. It's funny because it's painfully relatable. Who hasn't felt physically glued to their desk after a long workday? Work as literal bondage. Melville's description implies that the landsmen's lives aren't just monotonous, they're borderline torturous. Their desks and counters are not tools of productivity but instruments of confinement, as oppressive as Ahab's obsession with Moby Dick. Landsman versus seafaring freedom. In contrast to the landsman, Melville paints the sea as a realm of freedom and possibility. While the landsmen are tied to their lath and plaster prisons, Ishmael escapes to the open ocean, where he can shake off the chains of societal expectations. Confinement versus adventure. The landsman's plight reflects a central theme of Moby Dick, the tension between the safety of routine and the risk of freedom. The landsmen cling to their desks. Ishmael leaps into the unknown, even if it means facing whales and madness. The sea as escape. For Ishmael, the sea represents liberation from the oppressive monotony of the landsman's world. It's a place where he can be untied, unnailed, and unclinched, even if it means risking his life. The landsman as a mirror for humanity. While Melville's description of the landsman is hilarious in its exaggeration, it also serves as a broader metaphor for humanity's existential struggle. We are all, in some way, tied to counters or clinched to desks, trapped by obligations and longing for something greater. The absurdity of human labor. The landsmen's lives reflect the absurdity of human labor. They spend their days shackled to desks, not because they want to, but because society demands it. It's a darkly funny commentary on the human condition. We build our own prisons and then complain about being trapped in them. The longing for escape, just as Ishmael feels the call of the sea, the landsmen feel an unconscious yearning for freedom. They stare at the ocean, dreaming of adventure, even as they remain nailed to their benches. Connection to Moby Dick's larger themes. This sentence isn't just a funny dig at office life. It ties directly into Moby Dick's grander themes of freedom, obsession, and the human condition. Freedom versus confinement. The landsman's plight highlights the central tension in the novel, the struggle between the safety of confinement and the perilous freedom of the sea. Human longing. The landsman's longing for the ocean mirrors Ahab's obsession with Moby Dick. Both reflect humanity's insatiable desire to reach beyond the limits of the known world. The absurdity of life. The image of men nailed to benches captures the absurdity of existence. Whether we're chasing a whale or balancing the books, we're all trying to make sense of a chaotic, indifferent universe. Conclusion: laughing at the lath and plaster. Melville's 15th sentence is a masterful blend of humor and existential insight. Through the image of landsmen tied to counters and clinched to desks, he captures the absurdity of human labor and the universal longing for freedom. It's a funny, poignant reminder that life is both a trap and a choice, one that we navigate with varying degrees of success. So the next time you feel nailed to your chair or tied to your inbox, take comfort in knowing you're in good company. Melville understood the plight of the modern worker long before office cubicles and coffee breaks. And while you might not have a white whale to chase, at least you can dream of the ocean, or at the very least, a long weekend.